Okay, welcome in everybody. So happy to be doing this. Really excited about today's episode. Ulmus and Tasi is some of my favorite lore from AFK Arena. It's actually some of the lore that got me started on being like, wow, this lore is really cool. So I'm going to take just a couple minutes. We got that 3-minute countdown here. I'm going to let everybody know that we're up on Twitch. I had my power out today. My power was out all last night and into the morning, and it just came back up a little bit ago. So that's why we're getting started so late today, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the deal. We are starting, so I mean, as long as it's up, right? So I will be right back in just a couple minutes. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Just firing us up on Twitch right now. We probably get started before that timer's done, to be honest with you. Just getting us up on Twitch. Let's see here. Esperia Chronicles. Everything's dead too because my power was out last night. So all of the like my phone's dead almost because it just came back on. Everything. I was afraid my alarms wouldn't go. They didn't. My alarms didn't go off this morning. Like, of course, we didn't have power, so it didn't matter. Ulmus and the Dream Guardian. I am so excited for today. It's going to be so much fun. I love the Ulmus and Tasi lore. And we're going to do Ezizh as well because he's tied right in. And a fairy. Yes, sir. How you doing, Triv? Oh my god, for a week? That's crazy, man. Yeah, I've always felt like in recent years, like power companies are getting pretty good about getting the power back on. Maybe it's just because I live in LA, but I feel like it was the same thing in Columbus when I moved back to Columbus, where I'm from, for a couple of years in like 2013, 14. I feel like the power comes back on a lot quicker than it used to when we were kids growing up, and it'd be out for 8 hours if it was out. Now it's always like an hour, but it was out forever. It was out for like 12 hours just now. I haven't seen that in over a decade for sure. So I assume it's because of the heat. I'm not sure even though. Ulmus and the Dream Guardian. Okay. All right. AFK Arena. I'm even going to be on camera today, guys. AFK Journey, AFK Arena. Gotcha. Mobile game. Okay, Twitch is up. Do multiple outputs. Yes, sir. Okay. Actually, that 2.5 minutes is perfect, I think. Got my contacts. Put my contacts in real quick. I've been getting back into AFK Arena again, which is really cool. I mean, I never was not playing it, but there was a period here where, as you know, founding the large scale Analytica uh, with season and even with our incredible leadership team, it still was an insane amount of work for us, especially season and I, since we launched it in March, end of March, right? So the last couple months between getting Analytica's, like I said, the large scale operation off the ground, because we've been doing Analytica Journey as a 2-person team for a year or so. Well, and our beloved officers naturally, but we've been doing the 60 player operation for about a year, and then moving it to, what are we at now, 330, I think. Took up a lot of headspace on top of playing 2 free-to-play accounts at the absolute maxed out level. So between all of that and the content that I've been getting up, it's been a lot. So I'm really, I finally, now that we are up and running and stuff, I've had just a little bit more mental space. It's more about mental space, honestly, than actual time. Any of you guys that have put together a large scale anything would probably get that. And so I've been really enjoying getting back into AFK Arena this last couple weeks, about a week, maybe 8-9 days, and we are recruiting. So I need to run and grab some ice real quick. I'll be back and we'll kick this thing off. But we're recruiting in AFK Arena if anybody is looking for a home, long-term player. All right. All right. I'm back. Thank you guys so much for hanging out patiently. A lot of things to get off the ground this morning with the power out entirely. There's a lot of things I wasn't expecting. So, but we're here and we're starting, and that's awesome. So let's do this. Let me see here. We've got a studio mode, and then we're doing yeah, that's right. But that's, ooh, I don't know about that outfit. Um, and let's kick that off for now. Just for now. Okay. And we do that. Yes, sir. And we're off. Okay, so I want to start with a couple of videos, at least one. How you guys doing? I see you guys rolling in. I appreciate you coming for this today's later afternoon episode of the Esperia Chronicles live. We've got wow, everybody's making Ulmus guides. It's amazing how many Ulmus guides there are. That's a lot of Ulmus guides. I wanted to play the Dolly one, but there's like a zillion content creators making guides about him already. That's good. That's great. The one that we're looking for would be the actual video about him, which is this one.
Ancient tree. With his the history of Esperia has been engraved onto him.
I see. Here we go.
Are the rings of an ancient tree. With his branches and vines, he's a great friend to the creatures of the forest. The wilders, little animals, and even newly blossomed flowers have all received his kindness. He
it is that music.
Is the grove keeper, Ulmus. Chippy, I've heard Grandpa Ulmus always forgets his age. Is that true?
Yes, Dolly. Let me tell you, the squirrels always like to remind him of his age by gathering nuts under his branches. 1 nut means Grandpa is 100 years old, and 2 means he's 200.
Oh my goodness.
Grandpa always gets confused by these naughty kids.
So, how old is Grandpa Ulmus really?
No one knows his actual age. But
that's
maybe
probably
Mr.
true.
Merlin might know something.
I'm not sure about his age either.
I
But
do
I
know.
He loves the forest, and he's always there to protect. Grandpa Ulmus has 2 different states in battle, both providing crucial protection to the team.
Okay, we don't need the battle stuff.
When his health is good, he uses his ultimate skill.
I just thought it was
ancient
interesting.
tenacity.
That little story that Chippy tells about the acorns, I thought was kind of cute. But The other video is about Tasi, which we could play actually from the AFK Arena game. Let me see. So I suppose we'll just have to start with reading. And then I can pull it up in game. All right, fair enough. Well then, in that case, allow me to say hi. Hi guys. Good morning. Like I said, it's been a 14 hours of it was weird going back in the Stone Ages, to be honest. It was weird having no power, no lights, no nothing at night, and it's just like you suddenly remember that you're just a creature on a planet, you know? And then the cell phones die, and it's like I think we need more of that. I really am a proponent of like technology-free parties and stuff. Like I think I'd like to start maybe like if I have a party, like have everybody, you know, put their for certain part, not just like any party, but like if you have a party for an occasion, I think it'd be cool to start doing parlor games and that kind of thing. I just really I continually find my attachment to technology to be like concerning, I guess. Or just like, yeah, I guess concerning is the word. It's like, you know, it's just a really apparent, right? And I think it's healthy to pay attention to that and be like, oh. So anyway, having no power was very refreshing in a way, and here we are, ruckus in the morning. So Ulmus is much older than just being a wilder. Ulmus, well, let's just jump. Yeah, he is really old. You are right, Triv. Good afternoon, Escape God. Nice to see you. Yeah, he is very old. He is like he's more of a spiritual guardian, I would say. Well, you guys can decide for yourselves. Let me grab the book. The tome, AFK Arena official art book. We'll be working out of this as well as the AFK Arena game itself, which you guys, I can pull up and show you guys like right now. How you doing, Escape God? On my heroes, you guys are about to see it right now. I'm about to break 420. Here we go. Or hit 420 on the first one. So I got 410 res now. There we go, up to 420. And I think you were here yesterday, Escape God, but I got my 5th Shakir. So I'm one copy away from Paragon of my favorite hero, who is literally the core of my PvP build that I use to attack people. I'm about to he's the carry, right? I mean, not they all do an important job, but he's the tank and the main DPS and he's the guy, right? So I'm one copy away from Paragoning him, and it's just gonna be, oh man. And of course that'll take another year. Knock on wood. Esteban, my desk Esteban is a very special guy. He's over 100 years old himself, my desk, and he eats ghosts and ghouls and goblins for me and hangs on to them for my writing so that I can pull them out when I need to. but he keeps them kind of like, you know, like the Ghostbusters have that thing with the pedal where they keep all the. Esteban is like that. He's made of oak, and within his oak are all kinds of horrors, but he is the safest place they could be. And now I'm a little off topic. But I knocked on wood, not just any wood, is the point. So, with any luck, we'll have Paragon Shakir soon. Hopefully soon. Anyhow, also he's missing his. I've already got him legendary on S1, which is great because he's, you know, my carry there. He's an actual carry for me there. But here on PTR, he's still missing the center guy here. But I haven't. We'll get into the gameplay later if you guys are still around. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to cross 900, and then we'll be able to pull, and then I'll be able to do the level 12 Duras trials, right? So we got to do that today though, because you know it's the day where it's all available. So we're just 9 stages away from being able to do 12, and 12 is where the big ones are in, right? That's where you can start buying the top end ones. So exciting day all around. That said, let's get back into Ulmus. Here, I was pulling, what was I gonna do? I'm gonna open up AFK Arena here, and while I do that, we'll run this really quick. Paint triangles on my nipples? Alistair, that's so weird. I might do it. What? Just like a little... I don't hate it. I would celebrate that man hard. I tell you what I will do. Oh God, I hope I know where it is. Yeah, I'm sure I do. Hold on. I have a celebratory outfit I'll be wearing when we do end up getting that Shakir. I do. I just realized I might know where it is. I don't know if any of you guys have a girlfriend as well. None of you guys have a girlfriend as wonderful as mine, but one of the things that she does is clean stuff up all the time. She's always like tidying and stuff. And the only downside to it is I often have no idea where something is. Okay, here we go with AFK Arena is open. Close that. Yep. There we go. And hey, this Entendre team is cruising, huh? And there she is. You guys see Entendre there? She's currently the awoken hero. Oops. Wrong button. Okay, we have AFK Arena open. We're good on the fighting. We'll do that later. So there we go. Audio. Audio. The audio. You guys can hear me, but the game isn't playing audio. Ah, that's where, I'm sure. Thank you. Yeah. I did, so I think it's over there. I'll get it. Thanks. How weird is that? It's just not. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know where the sound is. I'm sorry. But I do know where Ulmus is and his story. So let's start there. Actually, I had wanted to do this last night. We'll take Ulmus. And we'll put him on the resonating crystal. Since I'm pretty sure I've got like a bunch of spots these days. Yeah, I do. So in AFK Arena, there's a resonating crystal and there's spots. It's not all your heroes. One of the things they did for Journey was make all the gear shared between classes, which is awesome. Whereas in Arena, you know, we've got you've got to do gear on each hero individually. They did end up adding resonating gear, but it's not nearly as good as the gear that you build individually. I mean, it does a better job. They added it several years in, too, by the way. You used to have to take all the gear off your heroes, put it all the way back on the other one. But anyway, then the resonating crystal has spots on it where you add heroes onto it. So we'll take Ulmus and throw him on here where, like I said, he deserves to be on there now that he's made his way all the way to Journey for sure. He's unfortunately a lot like Walker in that he is entirely not not used, let's say. We won't call him useless. We'll just say he's not ever used for anything, ever, in this game. Ever. But he's old. He's one of the older heroes, and a lot of them aren't used that often. Tasi used to be a big deal. She was one of the best heroes in the game when I started playing 4 years ago, and now she's not ever used. So here we have Mr. Ulmus, and we'll begin with his story, I think. Yeah, game is quiet. You said, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I wonder if we could at least do music from AFK Arena, maybe, in the background. I finally got this. Oh, no, Esteban gets the job done. We don't need an Ulmus desk. My God, you're good, Alistair. No. But yeah, what a desk, right? Oh man, you could make some real magic spells out of that desk. Hey, he'll grow it back. Right? I've been wanting this frame here. This big, open, beautiful frame is one of the top PvP frames. It took like 4 years to collect enough of the resource to get it from this thing called Heroes of Esperia, where it's like a PvP event where all the servers compete, and you obviously, as a free to play, I'm never winning that thing, but over time you collect like the bits and pieces of like 100 this time, 100 that time, and it took like 2,000 or something. Just got that like 2 weeks ago. So let me see. Yeah, the music is off here, but maybe we could get some sound this way. Yeah, look at that. Oof. Oh, that's not playing for you guys, just for me. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, somehow the audio's got effed. All right, well, one sec. Audio. Aha. Weird. I bet you it's because of the power. The power did more than I thought it did, guys. I'm so sorry. We're getting there. We're finding our way there. Power being out. Yeah, that makes so much sense. It disconnected my connection to the TV, which is how I use the audio. Now that I don't use the Razer mic, I use the audio, routing to the TV as one of the channels. It's hard to get virtual channels up and running. There's a lot that goes into running different audios, by the way, for streaming. Let's see here. Well, I found my Shakir outfit, as I said. That's not what I was getting up to do. I was getting up to fix the audio, and I believe I did. So weird. It still won't do it, but whatever, it's fine. Probably if I restarted everything it would, but alright guys, forget it, sorry. Okay, well then let's use the other audio channel. Almost done. Okay. Might need to do it in here. This is my spirit hood, which is a gray wolf, which is actually my spirit animal, which plays no small part in my initial adoration for Shakir, although the larger reason was, of course, his incredible story, which I owe you guys as a cut. I tell you what, I'll do that first thing after the stream ends today. I'll do that before we do before I finish the other videos that I'm gonna do today. Sound. Yep. Communications. I'm so sorry guys, this power outage really effed me. But we get through it. Speakers, paranoia. It like doesn't detect the TV now that it's hooked to with an HDMI, like an upscale HDMI cable for the last 2 years. Now it just like doesn't even see it. I don't know why. I bet a restart will fix that, I imagine. But anyhow, here we go. Here we go. Okay. And then I was going to see if it's in here first. Not in here, but in... in here.
I will drive this wickedness away.
Speakers, here we go. There we go. Yeah, you guys can hear that, right? Woo! Victory! Yeah.
This is your end.
And it's got little pockets. I used to wear this to concerts a lot. The year was 2012.
I will drive this wickedness away.
Okay, good. Good. So...
I have witnessed many things.
that's kind of a scary one. I have witnessed many things. Settings. Music down a little bit. Oh, nice. Thank you, Season. And guys, check out New Entendre. Crombie let me borrow his New Entendre. Look at this is a Woken Entendre.
Turn a blind eye. even till my last breath.
She just came out like 5 days ago in AFK Arena. She's super dope looking. I haven't...
Grant me power, blazing flame.
People were saying she was like kind of
No
bugged.
mercy from me. My strength knows no bounds. Face me. No mercy from me.
So I hadn't pulled her yet or used her, but...
My strength knows no bounds. No mercy from me.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the audio there, by the way, for the game, so you guys can turn it up or down, or let me know if it's too loud.
Power, blazing flame. My strength knows no bounds.
So, we've got New Entendre as well, but today I think we're gonna focus on Tasi and Ulmus. We'll do New Entendre next weekend, maybe. Okay.
I am prepared.
I love his little old mouth. He goes,
This is your last day. I will drive this wickedness away.
see his little mouth, like a little old man who's missing his dentures. That's what it makes me think of.
Is your end.
What a guy. Oh man. Okay.
This is your last day.
So his story. Oh yeah, awoken heroes into journey. That's a good question. The devs need to start. Yeah, I mean, a couple. Yeah, I'm surprised they did 2 A rank raid ups. I agree that was a bit of a shock to me. They did another A rank raid up. That was a lot. I agree. And we got to save this, by the way. I'm gonna put this away, boys. We're gonna bring it back out when that Shakir finally drops. I'll wear it all day. Yeah. Scout's honor. I'll wear it all day long. I used to wear that thing everywhere. So my friends were in a really popular band and I used to wear it to all their concerts, and then we'd my buddy's the lead singer, and he'd wear his, and then we'd wear them out after the shows and stuff. Met a lot of girls doing that. It was fun, man. It was that wasn't why we did it. We did it because we were those goofy guys. Girls liked it though. Yeah, gray wolves in general mean a lot to me. They always have. So I love the Shakir character, and it's part of why I was so... I mean, and I love that everyone else agrees that it... I was personally affronted with how dirty they did him as a character, to go from such a cool, like, deep, like, beautiful person into the bonehead that they made him for comedic, or like cheap comedic relief, you know? So, anyhow, that's the story of Daniel Gray and Grey Wolves, abridged. This, however, is the story of Ulmus, Aldermarrow. Ulmus is old, even by Treant standards, and he has resided within the forest for all his life. When the forest was first defiled by the Hypogean invasion, his leaves began to wilt, his tough old bark to rot, his calm mind to blur, under the affliction that set into him. His roots grew independently of his control, and he had no power to stop them. Nearly all of the creatures that had lived among his branches and roots, providing him with companionship and enjoying his protection, fled. He had become an unwitting danger to them. Struggling with the blight of body and mind, he knew only frustration and sorrow. His roots sank deep into the earth, anchoring him in place. When he tried to move, his branches would sporadically convulse as if electrified. What had he become? Memories of his long life flowed through his consciousness. The countless seasons, the various creatures he had known and lived aside, the esteem gained through years of service and succor. It was all fading. He had given up. He had stopped resisting. In the deepest throes of defeat, a warm brightness cut through the darkness that surrounded him. "Hold on, old friend!" Arden, the wizened little sage, pointed out here. The wizened little sage pointed his stand at Ulmus's rotting trunk, illuminating it with a serene yet revitalizing light. The treant's overgrown roots reacted as if in pain. They began to writhe and whip about violently, tearing furrows in the polluted earth. Flashing toward the intruder, they wrapped Arden in a sinister embrace. Blood darkened his white beard. Here, Ulmus found the strength he had needed. He had lost everything close to him and had given up, but he wouldn't stand by and simply watch someone he respected this much be crushed in his own tangle of roots. Arden, his close friend of centuries, gasped what very well may have been his final words. "Forget about me. Free yourself of this sickness. Persist." Wait. "Forget about me. Free yourself of this sickness. Persist." Arden's staff glowed with increasing intensity until nothing could be seen. The light even seemed to block out the sounds of the whipping roots and shaking branches. When the light finally dimmed, and only the sunbeams filtering through the canopy illuminated the scene, Ulmus was a living symbol of rejuvenation. The overgrown roots had been shed, and were already nothing more than dry husks. Withered, dead leaves littered the ground in a thick blanket, and were replaced on the treant's branches with small, bright green leaves of spring. The deep fissures in his bark had closed up, and his trunk and limbs radiated strength. There was only one problem. Arden had disappeared. After a brief moment of panic, one of the piles of dead leaves began to rustle before parting to reveal a bewildered old face, blinking the light away. Setting his sights on Ulmus, he lit up with a smile, rising as he brushed down his beard. "It's good to have you back." Stay strong until spring returns. It certainly does, Triv. That's a good point. Without Arden, he may have. That's a very good point. Now, let us look. Let me look briefly at Arden. I don't know if his mentions Ulmus or not. I don't. He mentioned a few people. I don't remember if it does. It's important. Why don't we'll read Arden really quick too. This is Arden, by the way. This little guy here is the famous Oaken Sage, my second favorite character of AFK Journey. Yeah, he was one of the first heroes I ever 3-starred. Way back before he was useful for much. I love Root. I love Druids. I loved I've always loved him. You used to be able to use him in AFK Arena for like almost the first year. He was a useful hero for me. Even if your team was far beyond, because he's food. He's a food hero in AFK Arena, right? But like Ira is, and Ogi, you use them here at the Temple of Ascension. We use them to build up other heroes. So if I wanted to build up a Tasi, which I apparently have a bunch of copies of, you would do this, and then you could use a couple of Ardens like that. I'll keep one just in case. To build her up. And then you might eventually use him like this to be legendary. Legendary is yellow in AFK Arena. And then you build him with himself again like that to make him legendary plus, which is the highest that Arden can be, and any of the food heroes. And then you take a legendary plus food hero and you combine them with a legendary plus of, for example, Tasi. Like if we did this. Yep. Make her legendary. Take her, combine her with that. Make her legendary plus. Like that. The game's going to yell at me. I've had these forever. It's fine. And then you would take her, see, and you'd combine her with Arden like that to make her mythic. But I don't think it'll let me. I cannot ascend. Yeah, you can't build him up higher. Unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, that's his use in this game. But he was so powerful with his roots that you could still use him with a team. So legendary plus heroes can only go up to 160. That's their absolute maximum level. And then you could still use him even if your team was like way higher. Like if your team was, I don't remember, I used him up till my teams were I think close to 300 or something. I'm not sure exactly. This was 4 years ago, but there he is. All right. See, so all my guys are 797 right now in AFK Arena. But Arden, even though I threw him on the crystal, you see here, he maxed out at 160. But I would use him anyway. He's fantastic. So I love that they brought him over. He's an important hero in the story. They brought over like all the best core heroes. They really did. And they're bringing over more now, like Tasi. Tasi was another one of my favorites, and we'll find out why right now. But as I said before, let us begin with Mr. Arden here. Get him some gear. Resonate that gear. Let's get him a... Oh, they can't wear the fancy artifacts? That's fair. Food heroes can't wear the fancy stuff? All right, that's fine. Yeah, that checks out. Go ahead and take the eye, buddy. Okay. Arden has lived a very long life and accumulated a peerless pool of wisdom. The old sage is held in the highest regard among the Wilders, with many looking on him with something akin to reverence. As an oak sage, Arden is also in the highest order of the forest's conjurers. They are nature's will incarnate, the voice of the trees, the hand of the living world. Needless to say, his words carry considerable weight. Though all Wilders call the forest their home, and feel at ease among the towering trunks and swooping boughs, Arden feels the life of the place deep in his bones. He knows that the forest has a soul. He hears its joy in the sun's nourishing warmth, its sorrow at the axe's falls, its hunger and pain and overwhelming desire to propagate. It was in this way that Arden sensed the approach of the Hypogeans. From the moment the gate was broken, a looming unease began to grow like a parasitic weed. There was a sudden darkening of the forest's gestalt consciousness. Animals returned to their burrows or huddled in their nests. Flowers ready to bloom remained closed, afraid to open their petals to the world outside. Seeds in the ground refused to take root, afraid of what they would meet above ground. Arden couldn't quite say what the threat was at the very beginning, but he knew that dark times were coming, and that his people would need to be ready. The first step was to create the Dusk Watch. Someone would need to be posted along the woodland's perimeter if they were to ascertain exactly what the source of this unease was. He began speaking to the brambles and brush around the forest edge and the areas surrounding the villages of the Wilders, gently coaxing the brambles and the brush to grow in tightly knit walls of thorn and vine. Of course he did. That's my boy. The aged conjurer knew, however, that in the coming times, the vast stores of knowledge he held would need to be shown to all. Not without a little trepidation, he opted to break with long-held traditions and share his wisdom in earnest. He began to teach the most talented of the younger generation many of the secrets he had uncovered over his years, encouraging them to bring this knowledge to their friends and to their families. If they were going to make it through this, they would need everyone operating to their fullest potential. Unity would be paramount. Evil was spreading in all directions, and like a corrupted river, one branch was coming for them. The Wilders would need guidance and an experienced hand in the time to come. Arden felt his new responsibility come to rest heavily on his shoulders. He didn't ask for this duty, but he didn't trust anyone else to do it. He would lead the fight. He would lead the resistance.
Listen to the wind. Words ride on its every breath.
Nature's law is the only law. The trees speak through me. The trees speak through me. There is power in these roots.
I like his voice. I haven't actually listened to his one in the game much. I just kind of do my own thing with it, but I like it.
The land guards its secrets.
It's pretty similar, actually. That's great. I love that. So I think that's important to understand the basis here of what's going on with these other characters. Like, that's the mood in the forest. And did you catch that Arden created the Dusk Patrollers? Did you catch that Arden created the Dusk Patrollers? Because the Dusk Patrollers, if you don't remember, is the organization
the path to victory.
run by Laika It's the organization of guards that she is
Starlight
captain
will
of
hunt
course.
down the villains of this world.
I made a big huff and deal to them that the Dusk Patrollers weren't in the game much in Journey before they did the rewrites,
Starlight will hunt
and
down the villains of this world.
I was really glad. A couple of us did. Meisel did with me, in fact. That's when she was still playing AFK, and they made
Stars
her.
will bless those who fight for justice.
And the Dusk Patrollers became much more visible and prevalent afterwards. And I was really, it felt like maybe they had always been planning to, maybe not, I don't know. But it certainly felt like they listened, and
Starlight
either
will
way,
hunt down the villains of this world.
they got it right. So, this is my Awoken Leica, by the way. I built her fairly recently. We got to do a hero swap.
Dear stars, answer my call. Aid me in
We got to do a hero swap. They do this once a year now. It's a wonderful idea. So you can get rid of old heroes that are useless now that you've invested a lot into. I did it the first time 2 years ago, right around when I started streaming. And I swapped Leica, I swapped my Brutus, Awoken Brutus, for Awoken Leica. Awoken Leica is extremely relevant now, and unfortunately, Awoken Brutus has kind of been passed by, as units do. You know, they get passed by. So it makes me sad though. I loved him. He was like one of my favorite units I had. But luckily, I'm able to accomplish a lot more now with her than I was. So, this is Awoken Brutus. We've done his story and stuff a lot before in the past. But we got to stay with the Wilders, of course. So now that we did Ulmus and we got sort of a bit of the story there from Arden, let me go. We're gonna go wait. So Arden is like current age, right? And Ulmus obviously is too, because he's really old. But we're gonna go back to Ulmus more towards the beginning. I don't know if it's the beginning of Ulmus, but we're gonna go back to the beginning of Tasi and in history and see the creation and things that came way before the time of now, which includes Arden. He's known Arden for centuries, so I'm actually not sure how old Arden is either. I don't know. Meisel would know. I should ask her. But she would know if we know. I'm not sure if we know. But anyway, we're gonna go back. So yeah, Arden is actually also very old, but I don't think he's Ulmus old. But he may be. You're thinking of trying out AFK Arena, Triv? It's really good. It's really complicated these days. I've heard that it can be a little overwhelming for new players now, which doesn't shock me. But it would be great if you start it. I'm down to help you any way that I can. The story part, the one thing that you should be prepared for if any of you guys decide to play AFK Arena, is that the stories are not part of the game. Like, they're in there to read, but it's not part of the gameplay. That's what's different about Journey. That's why I like Journey so much, is because they've made the story part of the gameplay. In AFK Arena, the story is very to the side. It's like there is story for each character, but what the battles and things, there are stories that go on in the game, but like the main campaign doesn't have story to it, right? But there are stories. In fact, there's one that I was thinking, I guess maybe we should do it maybe later today. There's a story for the Awoken Entendre, for example, that tells the story of her awakening. And that is it's a playthrough. We're going to play it. Let's see, Land of... Okay, so we can do it next weekend. So I'm probably going to do that next weekend. But she has a whole story to play through here that tells how she's awoken, because each of the awoken heroes literally wakes up. I'll read the little brief. Entendre had been ready to sacrifice herself in a final battle, but at the last moment, Hilduin of the Bloodridge tribe, that's one of these new dragons. We're in the era of dragons. Came out like around the time the Journey came out, the dragon expansion. Hilduin of the Bloodridge tribe bestowed her with the power of the Draconis gems, granting her the power to wipe out Hypogeans. But her fight wasn't over yet. Worried about Citrana and the refugees, she headed straight for the Temple of the Seers, returning to the place where her exile began.
After all these years, as she steps into the sacred temple once again, will she reclaim her role as a temple guard or leave it behind forever? Awakening is a gimmick that allows them to re-release heroes. So, for example, I own Leica, Keeper of the Glades, and have had her since the very beginning.
Do not give yourself to evil.
She's very similar to her character in Journey, as in this form.
I fight for the forest.
Very similar. You put her in, she adds haste to the team right off the start of the battle. That's like her primary use. Then 3.5 years later, or whatever, they released the Awoken version. You see them both here. Here's one, and here's two.
I shall illuminate the path to victory.
And here
Remarkable. We did it.
is her Awoken form. They're super powerful heroes that you can only pull for with like super powerful cards. They're like the most expensive, difficult to acquire kind of heroes. They're like superheroes. I don't know, there's probably a term for them in gachas. I don't know gachas, I only know Esperia. But they're like uber carries, you know. Is there a term for that in gacha speak? But the awakening that happens is only plot-wise. It doesn't actually happen to the character. It's a totally different tune. And you can't use them both in the same lineup, but that's the only restriction with it. I mean, kind of makes sense. Yeah, so you can't use them in the same formation ever, but other than that, they're just two completely different heroes. They have no relation to each other whatsoever, except that they typically share a faction. I'm trying to think if one of them... I've always wanted them to have an awoken hero to change faction. I think would be really cool. Yes, so what does it mean in lore? Absolutely. So in lore, it does have a meaning. In lore, it means that something happened. It's different for all of them. That's the really cool thing. It's one of the things that I really admire about what they've been doing. One sec. So in the lore, like I said, it means something different for everybody, and they write it, most of them, really, really well. The Lucius that happened recently is unfortunately an example of... It was a total misfire. It's not good plot. Nobody was pleased with it. He looks like Lucius got a drinking problem and got fired from his job. He's got like a scruffy goatee now, and the plot doesn't make any sense with the other things going on. So we kind of don't talk about him, but most of them, I think plot-wise, have been very good. And so, for example, Sophia is one of my favorites. She's a mauler, of course. And Sophia is a Sphinx. They didn't use Sphinxes in this expansion in Journey. I wish that they had. But Sophia is...
I am one with the desert.
No, Christina, that's a great idea. Like if they died and became Graveborn, that's what I wanted. I was saying I wanted Awoken Lucius as a Graveborn. It would have been a great plot line. The man who's like sworn to protect the Lightbearers from Graveborns. It would be so cool. It would have been, everybody would love it, man. It's such a good idea. And they didn't listen to me, and they awokened him as like a 37-year-old bum who's like, you know, still working the same dead-end job and like hates his life and chain smoking. Like he it's yeah. Anyway, so Lucius is kind of an exception, but most of them have really great stories. For example, Sophia here. So she's daughter of the desert Sophia. She was like a mostly not too used these days mauler who got interested in the Void Realm and a relic in particular. She's I think she was part royalty, or I forget exactly her connection, but she's royal enough. The Sphinxes in general are kind of high up nobility, I think. So they have a very strict hierarchy, and she was towards the top of it. And she starts playing with this relic that attaches her to the Void Realm, that lets her feel the power of the Void Realm, and gets hooked on it, and decides to steal this relic to grab all this power from herself. And that was her awakening. And so she awakens.
Nothing is more divine than the taste of power.
Into Sophia.
Let this all-consuming power plunge the world into darkness.
Maestro of power. It's very, very, she's a very, very cool
To wear
character.
this crown is to bear its weight. Insignificant.
You know, Christina, we've never seen a Graveborn that was a Wilder or a Mauler, and I gotta wonder why. Plot-wise, we should maybe be able to see that.
Let this all-consuming power
Rubes, I don't know. Let me look, Rubel. Depends what time you sent it, Rube. If it was last night, my power was out.
Insignificant
Let
worms.
me see, bud.
Insignificant
Oh, yeah.
worms.
Yeah, man. Grats. Yeah, I totally appreciate your success on the second account, man. I think that's a smart thing to do. It's literally what I do. You know, I have two accounts, and it helps with the stress of being a talented player, but just being, no matter what you do as a free play, you're kind of stuck behind the pack on a top server like server 1 where we play, or any of the guys. You know, I know guys that are free to plays on server 4, server 8, all these. So I totally think it's a great idea, man. I'm glad you're having success over there. It's good. Anyway, Sophia, she woke up in such a fashion. I don't know about the undead being a bear, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thought. I haven't really explored it. That's another one that Maisel would have a good answer to. I'd love to ask her what she thinks of it. I'll have to hit her up later today. We got some questions for her. I figured it would happen eventually, and it finally. I've got some questions that I totally need her on. So anyhow, yeah, it's a really cool idea, Christina. That's really, really cool. Oh, what up, Bama? Bama on Twitch. Bro, I needed you yesterday. Some guy was in here saying all kinds of crazy shit on Twitch. I had to ban him. I thought of you. He was like, "Hi, I love your stream so much. It is so entertaining. I have many suggestions which I will send to you now, and you can pay me for them," or something dumb like that. All right. Back to the plot lines at hand. We've got, so yeah, as I said, we're gonna go back into the origins of at least Tasi's corporal form. Corporal meaning body, coming from the Latin for corpse, or corp, which means like corpse, body. So Tasi's corporal form, which happened in I thought I knew where it was. Apparently I don't. Huh. Huh. Hold on. Let me see my timeline here. I'm literally making a freaking video about it. I've got a freaking timeline. I know I do. I thought I knew where that was. That's kind of fun. Okay. So I know that it's in... She comes in relation to Ezizh making an appearance in Nightmares. He starts popping in and she goes, whoa boy, I gotta do something. Is this what I needed? No. This is what I needed. Okay, here we go. Okay, okay, yeah, it is pretty recent. Yes, the Aurora Age, I believe. What the? I guess we'll just go to her story because okay. It's so funny to try and get it to show it without messing with the camera. I mean, I can mess with the camera, but wait, no, don't cut me out. You see it anyway. Ulmus and Tasi. But let's read her story first, and then we'll do their union story. What's up, girly?
May the forest guide us. There will be peace again. You'll never catch me. Leave here at once.
Cecia looks like she could be connected to the what? Oh, no. The reason Cecia looks like that, I thought we covered that. You know, I never read Cecia's story, did I? Have I done? I don't think I've done her story again, have I? Since, because it's up on, sorry, let me turn Tasi down. It's up on Twitch, but I think I was going to redo it on YouTube and I haven't. Cecia seems Wilder-like because she died in a forest, and was swallowed by, enchanted vines. She was lured into a forest by one of her suitor's wives, who was somehow in cahoots with a group of dark mages, like necromancers. And I don't want to say for sure necromancers, but they were at least wizards casting evil potions. And so she hops in a carriage that she thinks is sent by her lover, and it turns out that the carriage was sent by his wife. And it takes her into the forest, and then it stops, and she's like, wait, why are we stopping? And she gets out of the carriage, and the guy's wife is standing there in this very heavily wooded area, and suddenly she sees coming out from around in the darkness all these mages in robes, and they all step out of the darkness with their heads covered, and all at once they pour green vials onto the ground of like bright green liquid, and in like some big circle or something, and the roots all reach out and grab her and pull her down and consume her basically. And I don't want to, I mean, I guess I did kind of ruin it in a sense, but I don't want to ruin the whole thing, so I'll stop there. But that's, then it doesn't really cover her relationship with Quaidam. We don't know her relationship with Quaidam, although I assume, especially for who she is, she's got to be a Quaidam chick, like 100%. So that we didn't, it doesn't discuss what her agreement is, but like assuming it's per the norm, like, okay, you can come back, but what they don't know is that they're only going to contain their, like, all their negative feelings, her jealousy, her rage, her vanity, you know? Yeah, totally Corpse Bridey. Absolutely. A little bit. But that's her deal. And her trusty butler, Mr. Carlyle, would do anything for her. He followed her through, to the ends of the earth. He was in love with her. He went running after her carriage because she had forgotten her favorite hat, maybe, or favorite scarf or something. And he goes running after her, and he gets to the forest a little too late, and he sees her, and he still tries to get into the thorns to get to her, and they consumed him as well, which is why he is now her little bitch boy, even in the afterlife, and is like a big old spirit thing. He was her butler in life. One sec, I gotta deal with this dog. Is my camera stuck? It is, huh? That's funny. One sec. I was wondering what happened there. Let's fix that. It's a goofy image. Okay, hold on. Split, yeah.
There will be peace again.
Oh, I see. It's not even the camera. There was no issue. It's my oh, great. It's my OBS.
You'll never catch me. There will be peace again.
Sometimes my preview gets all wonky, and I don't know how to refresh it, which sucks, because I've been doing a lot of maneuvering of the thing right now,
Do not make me angry.
I'm trying to figure out how to fix it without restarting.
May the forest guide us.
Sorry, guys. One sec.
Leave here at once. May the forest guide us. Do not make me angry.
Everybody says you have to just restart OBS. That sucks.